Hey guys, welcome to Cooking Up Success. My name is Michelle Lynn. Yes, I'm here in my kitchen. We are talking about the business of interior design and how to cook up success with weekly trainings. Today, we're going to be talking about a clean set of books. If you are here live on Facebook and you can grant access to StreamYard to your profile, I would love it if you would pop in here and say hello. Tell me where you're from. Tell me how long you've been around in the interior design business. And let's just have an interaction, okay? Trying to get the lighting and stuff set up in here. It'll get better. So, again, my name is Michelle Lynn, and I am the owner and CEO of ML Interiors Group, which is a very successful interior design firm in Dallas, Texas. And it has, because the company basically runs itself with the processes and the procedures that we have created, it has allowed me the opportunity to create this platform where I can educate those in the same industry, talking about the business of running your interior design business. Because let's face it, this is hard. This is not an easy industry to be successful in. And it's also so very hush hush, but I'm not. Okay. So I try to share as much as I possibly can on a regular basis with you guys. If you are here live today, it is the end of October. And just as a heads up, November 7th, I believe, Hallie, is it the 7th or the 14th? We are going to be conducting our Rolling in the Dough workshop. It's how to qualify, quote, and close high-end clients while you are baking your profits into the project. So if you're here live, we'll have some information on that in this group. Watch for that. It'll be coming soon, and it is definitely well worth your time. And I believe it starts on the 12th. I'm pretty sure it starts on the 12th. Let's take a look here. I'm on my calendar. Yes, it starts on November the 7th. It does start November the 7th. Okay, so that's what, a week from now? 2 weeks from now? November the 7th. A week and a half from now. So if you're watching this live, or if you're catching it on a replay a day or two later, pencil in November the 7th, 2022, 12 until 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, Rolling in the Dough, how to qualify, quote, and close high-end clients while you are baking your profits into the project. So hello, greetings from Northern Virginia. Good to see you. And hello, Hallie. Thank you for coming on board with us. Hallie, if you guys don't know, is our community manager. She is a community manager here in our free group, as well as in our paid group. So we have a paid year-long program. It's called the Interior Design Business Bakery. And literally, if you want to increase your profits and make 5- and 6-figure leaps in your business, that's what we teach. Hello from Central Florida. Good to see you. Now, I'd love to say hello to you guys with your names. If you will grant access to StreamYard above my head, you'll be able to. Hallie, I think we're missing the P on the workshop, on the link. Thank you for sharing that. Now, let's talk about a clean set of books. Sorry, guys, my hair is making me crazy. Let's talk about a clean set of books. I'm not talking about simply wiping down some books that you have over here. I'm talking about your accounting books, okay? Your accounting books, it begins with, let's say, the way you set them up, okay? So for those of you who are relatively new in business, hey, Marlo, good to see you. Hello from Vegas. Thank you. For those of you who are relatively new in business, or if you've been in business for a while, I'm assuming that you are not an accountant and you don't even play one on TV, okay? That you are an interior designer. And for us, the majority of our brains do not, we're not attracted to accounting or math or anything like that. There's going to be the exception. I get it. But from a standpoint of your books, it begins when you set up your books, okay? Now, I am a huge advocate of design docs, okay? I do not get any sponsorship or kickback or anything from them at this point. But because they have, sorry, I nervous twitches today, because you can just do, you can do your accounting, you can do your sourcing, you can do your proposals, your invoices, your procurement, and all the things through it. Okay. But if you're on QuickBooks or if you're on Ivy or if you're on Mydoma or some of these other platforms I'm not as familiar with, regardless of where you are, what you need to do is you need to start with your chart of accounts. Okay. Your chart of accounts is going to be the foundation for your books, your accounting books. Okay. And what that is that is basically setting up your chart is going to say, here's your expenses, here's your income. And it's going to say, okay, so your chart is going to say office supplies, advertising, labor, cost of goods sold, and things along that line. So you need to get that set up properly. Okay. That is not something that you or I, for the most part, I'm talking about the majority of the audience, that you or I are going to be doing and doing well. Okay. So it's imperative that you get a bookkeeper who is familiar with interior design. Okay. Not every bookkeeper, and I say this from experience, not every bookkeeper understands all of the nuances of our business. Our business has a lot of moving parts, more so than almost any other business that you can imagine. My background, I'll tell you a funny story. Prior to getting into interior design and starting my own company, I actually ran in 2 different industries. Okay. 2 separate multi-million-dollar business units. Okay. One was a $6 million operation, one was an $11 million operations. And I thought those had a lot of moving parts. Okay. Completely unrelated industries. I thought, well, I can get into interior design, start my own business and be a badass. Well, y'all, I fell on my ass. Okay. Because I didn't realize how many moving parts there were in this business. So if you can imagine how many moving parts there are, and coming from a standpoint of, this is a business, therefore you need to make a profit, and therefore you need to be keeping track of your nickels, dimes, and dollars. Then setting up your accounting properly requires somebody who is familiar with all of the moving parts. Okay. In my opinion, and I'm not an accountant and I don't play one on TV, in my opinion, QuickBooks is not robust enough as you start building your business past the 5 and into the 6 figures. Okay. So if you are a baby business, QuickBooks is great. Okay. As you start growing, it loses a lot of the details. So let's talk about our books. A clean set of books, setting it up properly is imperative. QuickBooks, Design Docs, wherever you are, the chart of accounts is imperative. A bookkeeper who understands that just because we buy some fabric, that's not going to be the end use of it. It's going to create a pillow, or it's going to be upholstery or anything along that line. Okay. So in that respect, there are all of these nuances. So yes, QuickBooks will hinder your growth. So Facebook user at 1207, you're absolutely right. Whoever's saying that, thank you. Oh, hey, that's awesome. It looks like we just got hacked. We might end this recording and come back if this gets disgusting. Okay, so a clean set of books is imperative with your chart of accounts. Now, what else happens is you go and you start creating, Hallie, if you can delete those. Oh, I think that's on YouTube. It is on YouTube. Okay, well, whatever. We're going live both on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so once you start making purchases, okay, you're making purchases on behalf of your client. So what you're going to do is you need to put the purchases into a proposal that turns into an invoice, okay? And then this invoice is attached to all of the items that go into the design. What I mean by that, and what I say that QuickBooks is not necessarily going to be most effective, but if you find something that is specific for interior design, like Design Docs, what happens is you have this pillow. Thank you, Hallie. You have this pillow, okay? You have the fabric, you have the trim, you have the insert, and then you have the labor, okay? All 4 of these pieces comprise one pillow. Let's say that pillow is $100, okay? In this clean set of books, you're going to be charging the client, let's say $100. You're charging the client $100 for the product, but then you have all these 4 components that go into it that might total you $50 worth of expense. So you have revenue and you have expense, and then you have all these little pieces. Now, not only do you have these 4 components, the fabric, the trim, the insert, and the labor for the pillow, you also have freight, okay? And you also have potential receiving and storage. So by having a clean set of books, the ideal aspect of this, and this is going to be what you aspire to as you grow your business, is that every single piece of that exchange is accounted for. Okay. So you are paying the fabric company. Okay. That gets adjusted in your accounting. You are receiving money for the fabric. Okay. But it goes into the component of a pillow. Okay. So you can show the pillow to the client. You're not showing the pillow. You're not presenting the pillow as fabric, trim, insert, and labor. You're showing it as a final product. That's what you're selling to the client. But in your books, you are accounting for it as those 4 components. You're selling them as those 4 components, but it's consolidated. Those 4 components have these other concepts that need to go into it. Okay. So a clean set of books is going to, and here's an insider term for accounting, it's going to tick and tie all of those moving pieces so that you can say, I've purchased all of this and then I sold all of this, and everything gets paid for accordingly. A good set of books, a clean set of books, an accountant who understands all of the moving pieces, parts in our business, is going to be able to say, hey, we forgot to account for the freight. Do you want to pass that on to the client? Okay. Or are you going to pay for it? Because it's not one of the 4 components. If it gets overlooked, it still sits out there as not being ticked or tied. Okay. So in your cost of goods sold, which is part of your chart of accounts, I believe. Okay. Again, I'm not an accountant. I don't play one on TV, but I know enough to be dangerous and to know that I'm not able to do it, and that most bookkeepers are not able to do our business. Find a bookkeeper who understands interior design and use a specific software for interior design. So they are going to find, maybe you sent out an invoice for your interior, for your design fee. Okay. The way we charge for our design fee is a flat fee. I charge 50% at the signing of the contract and 50% when the design is presented. Okay. And then sometimes we have other things, like we have installation fees or construction administration or whatever. Now, in some instances, my designers, Debbie and Megan, they're human, and they might forget to send the construction administration before that phase kicks off. Okay. But a good set of books is going, at the end of every month, it's going to show what you still have outstanding and what you haven't sent. Okay. So when you are in the right, and because you can account for it in advance, you already know what it's going to be. You're just charging it in phases. But if you forget to charge in phases, a clean set of books is going to leave that as outstanding, and you will catch it so that you can say, oh, Mr. Miss Client, I should have sent you this invoice 3 weeks ago, but here's for the construction administration that we've already started. Versus at the end of the year, when your bookkeeper is trying to close things out and you're like, oh, there's $3,000 that I didn't charge back in March. The project's already done. You can't go back and send it to your client. Okay. So a clean set of books is going to have all of this information, because everything is, again, ticked and tied and closed out. So when a project is done, you close that out, and therefore, you know, it's been zeroed out. They've paid you all the money that you are charging them for your services. You have spent all of the money they've given you, and it's been accounted for. Let's say an item went down in price. Okay. Let's say it is a $1,500 occasional chair. Okay. And surprisingly, it went down to $1,300 by the time you quoted it at 15. Okay. With your margin. Okay. So we're just talking that the total cost went down. Okay. They charged you less, but you still charge the client the same amount. There's some money there. Your accountant is going to catch the difference in the balance. Okay. And they will be able to say, hey, do you want to keep that extra $200 because the price went down? Or do you want to apply it as a credit to the client? Okay. Or they're going to say, hey, actually the price went up. The invoice that came in that we sent them was for $1,500. The amount that the client charged, that the vendor charged us, is equivalent to $1,700. Okay. Because your trade price went up. Okay. So therefore your margin went down because you still only charged the client $1,500. Okay. So a bookkeeper with a clean set of books is going to come to you and say, hey, This actually went up when I got the invoice, or when we were charged, and it went on the credit card and so forth, tick, 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 ticking and tying. Do you want to go back to the client and tell them that the price went up? Okay, same thing, price up or down. So when it comes to a clean set of books, and ironically, this was one of my biggest challenges for the first 10 years of my business. Like, I tried bookkeepers, I tried QuickBooks, we tried all sorts of things. And you also want to you also want to cost out your job. Like, how much money did I make on that project? Because all of these data points are what you're going to use so that you can continue charging accordingly. Do you need to raise your prices? Do you need to raise your margin? Okay. A clean set of books is like putting gas in your car. Okay. It gets you where you're going because you have this data. It's like gas in your car and a map, I suppose. So I can't stress to you how important it is and how different our business is from just some standard money in, money out, plus sales tax. When do you charge sales tax? Okay. There's nuances state by state. The right bookkeeper is going to understand it. They're going to have your books set up. They're going to tell you, hey, this is how much we sold this month, and we need to pay our taxes accordingly. So let's see here. Questions. Charlotte, hey girl, good to see you. Just started your business, couldn't find a bookkeeper that was willing to take on new accounts at the moment. And Marlo asked, how are you able to find a bookkeeper who specializes in design clients? So there's a couple things. One, because we're on Design Docs, we use the Dove agency because they are a preferred partner to Design Docs. Now, I know Design Docs also has a variety of others that they refer. I was doing business with the Dove agency prior to Design Docs, so it was just an easy combination right there. But if you're on Ivy, if you're on Mydoma, if you're on Studio Designer, like whatever you're on, that platform should have accountants that they would recommend, okay, because they specialize in design. You can also go to businessofhome.com, and they have individuals who advertise that are specialists in their industry, in the design industry. And I know they have accountants as well. Now, you might find a bookkeeper who, I've got more on that as well. You might find a bookkeeper who's familiar with interior design, but they only work on one particular software. Okay, so maybe they only work on QuickBooks. Okay, or maybe they only work on Design Docs, or whatever the case may be. So you're going to find nuances. Find somebody who understands interior design and can also educate you on your own financials. Okay. So let's talk about, and Hallie, this could probably be a whole other topic, but let's talk about the importance of your procurement as well as your accounting and how they tie together. You're welcome, Marlo. So on Design Docs, the cool thing is because all of the items that are coming in, all of the items that we are sourcing for our clients that we're going to propose to them, they pay exactly, it's attached to the item. So you have a clipper, you drop it in. I say, here's $1,500 for this occasional chair. That $1,500 is paid. It's applied to that chair. So that's the ticking and the tying, the reconciling of the items. Okay. And then we also included freight in it. So it ties off that little item for the freight. Okay. And then the receiving and all of the things. What it does is it zeroes everything out over here on the payment. And then once everything has been officially paid for and reconciled, then you can do your procurement from there. So in this particular software and some of the other softwares, you have that ability to just streamline everything so that it goes together. So then you're doing the procurement and then the client's already paid for it. So the accounting's being done, the procurement, you have confirmed that everything that you're going to be paying for, you've already been paid for because it is not the Bank of Michelle. It's not the bank of you, okay? So it's a clean set of books and it's completely streamlined. At the end of the year, let me rephrase that. At the end of every month, or the middle of the following month, your books should be closed out. So you know exactly what happened last month. You should have your profit and loss report provided to you by your accountant. bookkeeper, whatever you want to call her, bookkeeper, him, whatever. So your bookkeeper is different than your accountant. So your bookkeeper should provide you with your profit and loss. The profit and loss shows your chart of accounts, everything that you have a line itemed out, okay? Advertising, subscriptions, office supplies, labor, utilities, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Professional fees, all of those things. So what it's going to do is that profit and loss sheet. And I know enough to be dangerous. Talk to your bookkeeper about this. What you're going to have is you're going to have all of your income at the top, and then you're going to have all of your expenses at the bottom. Okay. And then at the very bottom, you're going to have either red or black. It's going to be profit or loss. That's why they call it the P&L, profit and loss. And then that's how you're going to manage things. Okay. You're going to be able to take a look. If you have a clean set of books, you know it's accurate. You can also run reports on, okay, this particular job, how profitable was I? Okay. What was my margin for selling furniture? What was my margin in regards to how many hours I spent versus how much I charged them? Okay. Because we operate off of a flat fee. Okay. What was my profit on that? You're going to want to go through because you have a clean set of books and you're going to be able to see, project ABC was highly profitable because not only was it new construction, but then I did the furnishings for them. Wow. I want more of those. Okay. Or it could be project ABC DEF. That was a kitchen renovation. That was a lot more work than I expected. And I didn't sell anything to the client. It was just labor and my design genius. And really, I kind of broke even for all the time spent back and forth. How can I improve that? Okay. How can I improve my systems? How can I improve my processes? How can I improve my conversations and my communication with my clients and my contractors? Okay. And I'm going to have to charge more because you have these data points because you have a clean set of books. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but financials sometimes gives me anxiety. So let me just say, don't skimp on your software or your bookkeeping. Okay. Because that is going to be an investment that makes you money. If you don't feel like something's right, trust your gut. Like I trusted my gut multiple times. I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't have somebody preaching to me from their kitchen. Okay. Take the time, do some research, do whatever you need to do when you're beginning, but then continue to up level. Okay. You have to invest in better product in order to give a better service. Manage your anxiety. Marlo, I get it. I totally get it. But remember, we're business people. So when you have that anxiety, just remind yourself that you are the CEO. Okay. As you grow, I'm hiring a fractional CFO. Okay. It's about time. I should have done this 5 years ago. But I'm hiring a fractional CFO. So she's going to come in and she's going to continue teaching me and guiding me and giving me goals and boundaries and things to strive for. So just remember, do the best you can today and just continue to up level tomorrow. Okay. All right, y'all. Hallie, did I forget anything? Yes, you do need to take my course, Facebook user. Come join us because we have some badass financial coaches in there as well. So y'all, again, my name's Michelle Lynn. For those of you who are not familiar, pencil in November 7th because we're having another rolling in the dough, how to qualify, quote, and close high-end clients while you're baking your profits into your project. So I teach you enough to get that started. Also, just full disclaimer, that is where I introduce my paid program. So if you guys are curious, come join us. It's an hour every day. It's a badass program. It's a badass workshop. You've got a badass concierge that's going to walk you through everything, give you a badass workbook. Okay. I should probably not call it rolling in the dough. I should call it a badass workshop because that's what it is. So if that's the case, then I believe we will be live one more time next week at this hour. Okay. And then we're going to be going into our workshop. So for now, I'm signing out. You've attended several. Thank you. I'm so glad that that's the case. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your testimonial on that particular workshop. And then when the time comes, guys, I've got the paid program. If it's for you, it's for you. I really wish I would have had it when I was starting my business. I'm here to give that to you at a high fee, but you're going to make money off of it. So it's all about timing and the right people in the right places. So thanks for being here today. I will see you again next week. And I have just gone off the rails and gone almost 30 minutes when I normally go about 15. So thanks for being here. We'll talk to you soon.